In this example, we're going to be comparing the utility functions and the indifference curves for people who weight leisure and consumption differently. So the red person favors consumption and the blue person favors leisure. And the utility functions that I'm going to use to show this favoring look a little bit like the utility function I used in the example where we derived the indifference curves. But in this case, for the red person, the indifference curve is going to, the utility function, u of c and l, is going to be equal to c to the 2/3 times l to the 1/3. That's just a simple way I have of introducing weighting into what's called a Cobb-Douglas utility function. The blue person is going to have the utility function c to the 1/3 times l to the 2/3. So as I did before, I'm plugging in values to some constant utility level. The utility levels are different for red and blue in this case because I wanted to show how the indifference curves crossed. I plug in consumption level in dollars and increase it all the way down for both the red and the blue. So now the question is, what formula do I need to plug in for leisure in order to get the correct value of leisure to maintain our utility level constant all the way down in this spreadsheet? So basically I just need to solve this equation for L. So L to the 1/3 is equal to U of C and L divided by C to the 2/3. And in order to get rid of the 1/3 exponent on the left-hand side, I raise it to the third. So L to the 1/3 to the third is equal to U of C and L divided by C to the 2/3 raised to the third. So that gives us L to the first power on the left-hand side is equal to that expression. And that's what I would take up an input as the equation that would go here and then drag that all the way down. For the blue person, I do something similar. L to the 2/3 is equal to the U of C and L divided by C to the 1/3. I'm going to raise this to the 3/2. Raise both sides to the 3/2, I should say. And that leaves me with an expression for L. And I will input that up here and drag that all the way down. And then I can plot my indifference curves. And as you can see, the slope of the indifference curve for the person who favors consumption, even though it looks pretty steep up in this area, it's actually flatter in most places than the indifference curve for the person who favors leisure. So if we look along similar amounts of leisure, for example, this person at 60, the blue person at 60 hours of leisure has a slope of their indifference curve that's relatively flat. The blue person at 60 hours of leisure, the slope of their indifference curve is relatively steep. In order for the blue person to really increase their utility, they want to be moving very much to the right along this region. For the red person, in order to increase their utility, they really want to be moving more up in that direction with more consumption.